going to show you another very popular renovation these days, and it's to remove a wall to create an open plan design. Take a look at this project by Danielle Nicholas Bryk.
Today, I'm about to start one of the most common renovations that I am asked to do. I'm going to take a wall down between the dining room and kitchen in this very cool urban Victorian townhome. We've got some really great features. We've got a lot of character, exposed brick, hardwood. We're going to carry it all the way through to this kitchen. Getting this wall out is going to have huge impact, but it's a very big process. It involves installing a steel beam across here and reconfiguring the entire kitchen layout. I am standing right where that old wall used to be, and hidden inside that wall was a post that was holding up this beam. And in order for us to open everything up, we needed to extend that beam to the exterior wall, and that's the new point load. It was a huge process, but as you can see, now we've got great natural light, this amazing open plan, and let me tell you about this kitchen, because that was the main focus of this. The best thing is the island, this gorgeous focal point where the family can gather, where they can entertain. It is a much more social kitchen. We have really lucked out with ceiling height here. These IKEA cabinets fit perfectly, which really helped keep the budget in check. And then we've gone ahead and we've had custom doors made, as well as some of these custom walnut pieces, which to me just make the kitchen. They break up the white, they tie in the dining room set, and every inch is accounted for. So we've got cutting boards on this side, we've got a place to charge your phone for your keys, and of course, the stash of wine. Now, because this is entirely open concept, it's important to keep some of your design details consistent, like the flooring that we've run throughout. And I've also repeated that walnut in the coffee table as well as the unit on the brick wall. And because the space is a little bit modern, a little bit minimal, I love to cozy things up using textiles, like these amazing velvet pillows from Elty. They make any room.
Who's joined us? We've got Stacey McLennan and Danielle Bryk. We're with us on the dance. Hi, guys. So let's talk a little bit more about this. So many folks in my neighborhood are blowing out all the walls, and you know, when you've got an old home, a lot of them are, you know, sort of small rooms, and people want to get rid of those walls, but you have to be aware that it could take a lot of work to do that. So we have a before and after from you, Stacey. So the before, it's a perfectly nice kitchen. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's, as you would call it, a galley kitchen.
It was a galley kitchen, yes. And the clients were looking to open up the space so they could get a large island. So in order to do that, we removed a wall which had a structural post in it.
And it looks so grand now. Like, that is amazing. So you removed a wall with the structural post. What does that mean? What do you have to do?
So that means you reinforce it with a beam, and that has to be designed by an engineer, and you have to get a building permit for that. But what we did in this case was we actually concealed the beam in a coffered ceiling detail, and we added other detailing the same to conceal it, but it made it look like it was actually a part of the design rather than a structural beam.
Very smart. I love that. If you don't get an engineer to do it, your house will fall apart.
Right.
Okay?
Yes, that's important.
So that's what you have to do.
That's important.
Here's one from Shai. This is actually a lot like how our kitchen looked before we got rid of the wall as well. So there's an opening, but you decided to get rid of that wall completely, and take a look at the end result here. It is absolutely gorgeous. What a beautiful space.
So this is very standard in a lot of the old Toronto homes.
Yes.
This home is actually 100+ years old. And it was just very compartmentalized, and that was the old style, and they wanted to open it up. So we also had to reinforce it by doing a beam actually in the ceiling, had to get the engineer drawings and the engineer plans, but it just makes such a difference.
So it can be kind of easy, or it can be kind of hard.
Yes.
And Danielle, we have examples sort of a process that you had to go through. Is this your home or a client's home?
No, this is a client's home, and actually sometimes you get lucky with some of our narrow homes. The span, you know, the joists can handle that span, but when they can't, it's a process. And this one was like, look at that steel beam. It was so big, so it went out the exterior of the house. It was so traumatic.
Oh my gosh.
It really was. My clients just stayed away for this whole thing. But in the end, you get that natural light, and it really is worth it. So there's a couple of ways you can go about it. You can put a beam. You can do a beam, a flush beam with the ceiling. It's much more expensive because you have to cut all the joists. You have to pull back all the wiring, all the plumbing that's there. So you really have to decide where you want to spend your money.
Okay, so you can either do it flush or you can have it so that it's exposed.
That's right, and that can
which
be
is maybe a
detail.
little bit cheaper.
And, yeah, and one of the other ways they're doing it now is they're sistering new joists out of LVLs across the entire floor.
Okay,
But
what are
again,
LVLs?
LVLs are a type of wood. They're laminated veneer wood. Lumber. And so they're much stronger.
Yeah.
And so if you sister those and attach them to your existing beams, that can be a way of eliminating all posts altogether.
Beautiful.
But again, very expensive because you have to open the entire ceiling, pull back all your wires, all your plumbing, and do it that way.
You got to think about it.
Absolutely.
You really, you got to take some thought and think about it. And some people, you know, they don't want the open concept, but if you do, you also have to think about how there's going to be carry through throughout your house. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. For